channel. As you all know, my name is Temitope Esther Oluwawumi, and I speak on faith, I speak on love, I speak on hope, I speak on edifying and inspiring videos. And if you're just tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. We are a growing community and we'll continue to grow. So in this video, we're going to be talking about trusting the process. I know we are all familiar about what trusting the process actually means. And in fact, a lot of you would have been saying that, oh, I know what you're going to say. So, uh, without further ado, let's dive in. Many people love people so much to the point that they want to be like them. Like they see themselves in those people. Like, for example, we all have role models, mentors that we are looking up to. Now, I'm not talking about that kind of people. Now, the kind of persons I'm talking about is the fact that so many people want to be like, let's say for instance, maybe I have someone that I really, really cherish on Instagram or any social media, maybe for her dressing, maybe for the way she talks, maybe the way she eats, different kind of thing. People like people for different kind of things. Now, um, what made me give that example was the fact that a lot of people want to achieve, they want to achieve what a 50-year-old woman has achieved in her years, and they want to achieve it in their 20s, in their 25s. Like you don't get it. Like they want to rush the process. In fact, they don't even want to go through that process. They just want to get the results, the outcomes. And yes, the whole world, the entirety, might not want to like they are not looking for your processes. They are just looking for the outcomes of your life and the results of your life. But not to the point that you feel like you neglect what matters most, which is the processes. Processes of things matters most. As my place of work, they love processes. But they always have a slang they always say. The result of a good work is more work. Like people love results, fine. But not that you neglect the processes. Okay, we want to have a wedding party, for instance. And we will not say that we are not going to make any plans or strategize and do all those things. We just want to have a wedding party like right now. No, it doesn't work that way. Like there are processes you have to go through. Like people always want to achieve what their someone that is old enough to be their mothers, to be their fathers, want to achieve what they've achieved. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't possible. There's nothing that isn't possible. Nothing is impossible with God, but not you neglecting the processes that you're supposed to go through. You can't just jump processes. You have to go through your processes. See, there are times God put things in our hearts, like dreams, like aspirations, like goals, and He gives them to us right away. There's so many times like that. But there are other times, and this to me seems to be like the majority, when God puts things in our hearts and then makes us wait. Like it makes us wait. See, I have found out that during those times of waiting, God prepares us for His promises. During our waiting period, it teaches us things. It grows our character, our faith, and our ability to do what we feel we are called to do. God takes us through a process. But the question is, will you trust the process? Will you trust God's process for your life? Will you trust the process? Like, as I've said, a lot of people just want to like jump through the processes, and it doesn't work that way. See, I always say one thing to myself. I said I just wish everybody in the whole world could be rich, but sincerely, it's not possible for everybody in the whole world to be rich. And I know you might say why. One of my bosses will always say that it is not your fault if you were given birth to in a poor background or poor family. But it will definitely be your fault, and you will definitely regret it if you die being a poor man. Because My my dear sister, my brothers, God did not promise us poor, being poor. Being poor does not signify that you will go to heaven. Being poor does not signify that you are a child of God. In fact, prosperity should be your name. Because when Jesus Christ was on earth, there was nothing anywhere we found him in the Bible. When Jesus Christ was still on earth, there was no point in time they lack any good thing. There was no point. He made sure they all have, and they had in abundance. So why would you try to say pay because it's good that if I want to be wealthy now, that means that I'm gonna disobey God. I know people have different perspectives about their things. Fine, it's good. But see, as a believer, as a child of God, you are not supposed to be poor. Yes, you are not supposed to be poor. But not at the detriment of you ignoring the process. Will you trust the process? Will you trust the process? See, when I think about processes, I'm always reminded of a story I heard and I read myself about the Chinese bamboo tree. I know we are all familiar about that story. The tree begins as a nut planted in a soil or in soil and must be watered. We all know that anything that we want to like plant, we have to water it. It must be watered and fertilized every single day for 5 years before it finally breaks through the ground. Excuse me. All that times that all that time it spreads out its roots. And if at any time the watering or fertilizing process stops, the Chinese bamboo tree dies in the ground, on the ground. But in that fifth year, the Chinese bamboo tree finally breaks through the ground and grows to nearly 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. The tree must take 5 long years of developing a strong, deep, wide root system so it doesn't topple over when it is grown. See, that's a process. See, at first instance, people might feel like, will this thing work? And at first instance, people might be so tired because waiting can be tiring. I'm not see reality, talking about reality and seeing it in a realistic manner. It isn't easy, sincerely, because I've been there and I'm still there. But the thing is that will you trust the process? Like, do you know how strong and deep and wide the root system of a bamboo tree is? Like, it's like nearly 90 feet tall. And who would have thought that something like that could be that strong? It's the process that matters. It's the process. So still, will you still trust the process? Will you still trust the process? It's a question we need to ask ourselves. Will you still trust the process? When you say you trust the process, this means letting go, and having faith that things will eventually work out in its own time. See, I know it's not easy. I'm actually talking to myself, and I don't know who this is for, but can you wait on God? Like, it's gonna make everything beautiful in His own time. For instance, trusting the process in your career means that why you aren't exactly where you imagined that, oh, this is where I want to, that I'm going to be in the next 5 years. And despite all things that you've done and you're still not there, you're trusting the process that, despite the fact that you're not there, but you know that you're working your way to getting there and God is going to help you. So when you trust the process at the right time, you will get to where you tend to go without rushing or pressurizing yourself. So many people pressurize themselves. I want to have iPhone 14 Pro Max. I don't know if there is iPhone 14 Pro Max. I don't know anything about iPhone. But I want to have cars. I want to, yeah, all these things are good. I'm not saying they are bad. Not that I hate them. No, I'm not saying those things, those good things of life are bad. But everything has its own time. Everything. Is it that you're not married? You've already planned your life. I've planned my life since when I wrote everything down in my journal. Okay, this is when I want to get married. This is when this is when that. There is a saying that they always say, man proposes and God disposes. I don't know if I'm correct, but sincerely, it is not, it doesn't work. It doesn't have to work exactly the way you planned it. Let it happen the way God planned it. Don't plan the whole of your life yourself and not inquiring God first. In everything you want to do, put God first. Ask God, should I go? Should I overtake? Should I take this path? Am I going in the right direction? Like different things. Don't just do things by your own volition. Will you still trust the process? Will you? Trusting the process will take you to places you never imagined. Yeah, there are places you've imagined, but it will take you to places you've never imagined. And it all comes down to being patient, trust the Lord, and have faith. So, will you still trust the process? Will you trust the process, my dear sisters and brothers? Trust the process. Don't rush. Don't pressurize yourself. Why do you need to when you're still going to eventually get to where you're going? So why do you need why the rush? Trust the process. See, I so much love you guys, but God loves us most. Trust the process. Bye.